Can we just talk about the absolute disrespect of the blogs?
Mm-hmm.
Waiting until we are literally covered in dental bibs to drop the biggest celebrity mess of the week?
It is a profound, systemic corporate failure. I mean, I need my reality TV drama with my morning iced coffee, not at 2 in the afternoon when I am holding a suction tube for a patient who won't stop talking.
Literally. Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, good life. Babes, we are so glad to have you here with us today. And babes, if you haven't already, do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes, please do.
Also, babes, we know you might be listening while driving, at work, at school, or literally just surviving life right now. And babes, we fucking love our Snark squad. We hope you have the best day, babes. We deserve it.
We truly do, because, we're back for another midday gossip drop, because once again, the universe decided to ruin our recording schedule.
I am emotionally offended by the timing. Like, I genuinely feel targeted. We had our whole morning plan, and then boom, the timelines explode right when we are doing, like, a root canal assist.
I treat gossip scheduling like a very serious corporate timeline, and the blogs are currently in breach of contract. I am furious. The disrespect of delayed drama is unmatched.
It really is. Okay, before we get into the absolute chaos that happened on the internet today, we have to do our roses and thorns of the workday at the dental office. Because, babes, it was a lot.
A lot is an understatement. I am trying to survive the day through pure, unadulterated sarcasm at this point.
My rose is that I am emotionally drained, but I'm optimistic because the day is almost over. My thorn is the unexpected patient chaos. Like, we had a guy today who, I swear to God, kept trying to eat the suction straw.
Oh, I thought that. He was aggressively chewing on it like it was a boba straw.
Yes. I was like, sir, please, this is medical equipment. I'm exhausted. What is your rose and thorn?
My rose is that nobody yelled at me about their copay today. A small victory, but I will take it. My thorn is just the midweek burnout. I had a really weird interaction with a vendor that kept calling me boss, and I was like, please stop. And I'm so tired.
The midweek burnout is so real. But you know what? The night is still young. So we have our water, we have our Lonnie energy drinks on deck, and babes, we literally feel beyond healthy right now.
You're delusional, but yes, we feel healthy.
We do. Because Vegetarian Week is still in full effect for us. I am fully embracing wellness girl energy. I had this beautiful little veggie wrap for lunch.
Yeah, and I had a very sad, very dry vegetarian bowl. I am pretending this wellness journey changed my life, but I am emotionally suffering.
You are hating it.
I am one minor inconvenience away from ordering mozzarella sticks on DoorDash. I am craving a greasy, disgusting cheeseburger so badly my hands are shaking.
No, stay strong. We are romanticizing healthy eating.
You are romanticizing it. I am in a prison of my own making.
Well, speaking of things we are forcing ourselves to do, babes, we read through all the hobby suggestions you sent us, and everyone in the Snark squad is an absolute mess in the best possible way. The things you guys do for fun? Deranged. I love it.
Truly unhinged.
So we officially decided we are doing one new hobby every week. And right after we finish recording today, we are going bird watching.
Which I am already regretting agreeing to.
Why? I am actually so excited for the aesthetic. Like the cute little REI outfits, the binoculars, being mysterious outdoorsy girls. It sounds secretly peaceful.
It sounds like we are going to accidentally turn it into people watching. Let's be real. We are not looking for a yellow-bellied sapsucker or whatever. We are going to be looking for undercover rich people in the park.
Okay, wait, you're so right. We're totally just going to be judging people's athleisure wear.
Exactly. It's going to turn into rich people surveillance. I'm going to pretend to know bird names just so I can point at a guy in a Patagonia vest and be like, ah, yes, the elusive finance bro in his natural habitat.
I'm obsessed with that. We are definitely getting kicked out of the park.
100%.
Okay, let's get into this gossip recap because we have so much celebrity and reality TV mess to cover. The last 24 hours have been insane. We are avid fans of the mess, and I am dying to tell you guys what is happening.
It is a lot of very real, very dark consequences hitting these reality TV shows all at once. The fourth wall is completely gone.
Completely. Let's start with the darkest story on the timeline today because we need to just get it out there. Married at First Sight UK is basically on the brink of being canceled.
Yeah, this is a massive legal and ethical disaster.
It is so grim, babes. So BBC Panorama dropped this documentary called The Dark Side of Married at First Sight. 3 former brides from the UK version came forward with severe sexual abuse allegations against the guys they were matched with on the show.
It's horrifying.
We are talking about allegations of rape And one bride alleged a completely non-consensual sex act where her on-screen husband finished inside her without her permission. Like, this is not just bad reality TV behavior. These are severe criminal allegations.
Exactly. And Channel 4, the network that airs it in the UK, immediately wiped all the episodes featuring these cast members off their streaming platform.
Right. And CPL, which is the production company that makes this show, is scrambling.
Yeah.
They're out here putting out statements defending their, quote, gold standard welfare system while some external review takes place. Gold standard. Are you kidding me?
It's corporate defense strategy 101. But it really exposes the core issue with the whole reality TV matchmaking premise. To understand how we get to a point where a primetime dating show becomes the site of alleged sexual violence, you have to look at how they engineer these shows.
The pressure cooker.
Right. They don't just put two people in a nice apartment. They systematically isolate them. They take away their phones. They cut them off from their real-world friends, their family, their normal therapists.
They control when they sleep, when they eat.
And they pump them full of alcohol. The entire environment is scientifically optimized to maximize emotional volatility. They want people to crack because cracking equals good television.
But at what point does making good television become, like, actual criminal negligence? Because the producers always hide behind those crazy contracts, right? Like, oh, you signed a waiver, you're an independent contractor, whatever happens between you two is your own business.
Well, that legal defense is starting to crumble. In normal contract law, yeah, you can sign a waiver that says, I know I might sprain my ankle if I go on this obstacle course. But you cannot legally sign away your right to be protected from a criminal act.
Thank God.
If a production company creates an environment designed to break down your psychological boundaries, and then they lock you in a room with a stranger they didn't vet properly.
Because they don't vet for safety, they vet for drama.
Exactly. A red flag for a normal psychologist is a green light for a reality TV casting director. They want the unstable guy. But when that instability turns into alleged abuse, the production company can't just say, oops, independent contractor, they built the trap.
It makes me sick. And apparently, the UK police are urging other potential victims to come forward. Channel 4 has season 6 fully filmed, just sitting on a hard drive, and they've frozen it. I don't see how the show comes back from this.
I don't think it should. It challenges the entire legality of how these shows operate.
And it's not just the cast members waking up to how toxic this is. Entire towns are starting to fight back against these production companies, which brings us to the mess in Bourne, Texas.
This is such a fascinating shift in the culture.
Babes, picture this. Bourne is this super cute, quiet, tight-knit town in the Texas Hill Country. Bravo recently announces they are bringing a new docusoap there called Secrets, Lies, Texas Wives.
Sounds incredibly subtle.
Right. Now, 10 years ago, if Bravo came to your town, the mayor would throw a parade. It's free marketing. Tourism.
Everyone wanted to be the next Orange County.
Exactly. But the residents of Bourne are absolutely furious. They launched a change.org petition, which already has over 500 signatures, to ban the filming. And the petition literally says they are terrified. The show is going to amplify personal dramas and risk the, quote, very fabric of their community.
I love that they use that phrasing. They understand exactly what reality TV is. It is an extractive industry.
Like a mining company.
Yes, it's like a logging company coming into a forest. Bravo identifies a cute town. They move in with their heavy machinery, which is the camera crews and the producers, and they extract all the local resources.
The resources being the local gossip, the fights, the flipped tables.
They bottle up that toxicity, sell it for millions on Peacock, and then they pack up and leave the town to deal with the reputational damage.
They are treating Bravo like a toxic waste dump, which is so funny to me. Because what is left behind? The local bakery doesn't get a cut of the streaming revenue, but they do have to deal with people thinking their town is just a bunch of screaming, wine-throwing lunatics.
What's interesting is how a town can actually fight this. You can sign all the petitions you want, but Bravo has deep pockets.
So do they stop them?
Zoning laws and commercial film permits. A network needs a permit from the city council to block off a street, or film in a public park, or have a 40-person crew in a residential neighborhood. If the residents pressure their local government to just deny the permits, they starve the production.
Wow. So they can literally just zone them out of existence.
Exactly. If towns start weaponizing zoning laws against reality TV, the whole genre is in trouble because they need that authentic local backdrop. If the backdrop rejects them, they have nothing.
I am fully rooting for the town of Bourne. Defend your peace.
And honestly, speaking of local businesses getting screwed over by reality TV, we have to talk about this cake scandal.
The Bethany Frankel cake fiasco. This is a peak reality star delusion. I am still spiraling over this. Okay, so there is this small bakery in Florida called Sugar Huboka. The owner just went on social media and absolutely blasted Real Housewives of New York alum Bethany Frankel for being the most entitled human on earth.
Which, shocker.
Right. So last year, Bethany's team contacts this small bakery and asks for a massive, custom Scarface-themed cake for Bethany's birthday party down in Miami. And babes, this was not just baking a funfetti cake.
No, this was a project.
The bakery spent $4,000 on materials and labor. $4,000. They flew their lead decorator down from New York to Florida. They drove 4 hours round trip to deliver this cake to the venue.
All for free, by the way.
All for free. Because the unspoken rule of the influencer economy is that you give them free stuff and they give you a viral marketing bump. It's supposed to be an exchange of exposure.
Right. The bakery assumes that out of Bethany's millions of followers, enough people will see the cake and order from them to make back the $4,000. It's a calculated risk.
But the math only works if the celebrity actually does their part. Bethany gets this amazing cake. She takes all these photos at her party, and she tags the luxury venue. She tags her glam team. She even tags the freaking Daily Mail.
But she doesn't tag the bakery.
She completely ignores them. Her fans literally had to flood her comment section, begging her to credit the people who made the cake. And only then did she go back and bury a tiny little tag on, like slide 5 of a photo dump.
Which does absolutely nothing for the algorithm.
Nothing. The bakery owner said they got zero business from it, not one order. Bethany didn't even send a thank you text. But Jay, this is the part that actually made me want to scream.
The Publix cake.
A week later, Bethany walks into a Publix grocery store, buys a cheap standard chocolate cake, and posts a dedicated, glowing, highly visible video review praising Publix. For free.
The irony is physically painful.
Publix is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They do not need her shout-out. But the small business that spent $4,000 on her gets treated like garbage.
It perfectly illustrates the psychology of the ultra-wealthy reality star. Bethany posted the Publix cake because it benefits her brand. It makes her look relatable to her followers. Like, oh, look at me. I'm just a normal girl who likes a grocery store cake. But the small bakery, they're just a prop to her. They aren't humans. They are an endless well of free labor.
And the audacity doesn't stop there. 2 weeks ago, Bethany's team supposedly slides into the bakery's DMs again, asking for another free custom gift for some billionaire friends she is hosting.
You cannot make this up.
And the bakery owner was so polite, they just replied, like, sure, when you want to pick it up. Basically saying, we are not driving 4 hours for free again. And Bethany's team just ghosted them.
Because the second a small business demands basic professional courtesy or asks the celebrity to take on even 10% of the logistical effort, they are discarded. The entitlement is baked into the ecosystem. They think their mere existence is a form of payment.
Yeah. It is so gross. But, not every reality star is hoarding wealth and scamming bakeries. Some of them are literally losing all their money on national television.
The Kyle Cooke financial collapse. It's a lot to watch.
It is genuinely uncomfortable. Like, I am watching a man's life fall apart. So on Bravo's new spinoff, In the City, Kyle is on camera, flat out admitting that his beverage brand, Loverboy, is on the financial brink of disaster.
Which is crazy because Loverboy was Summer House for years. We all drank it.
I had so many Loverboys that the hangovers were insane, but we bought it. But now, he says he had to lay off 5 employees. He sank $500,000 of his own personal money into the company just to keep it afloat.
$500,000.
And he is relying on his late-night DJ gigs just to pay his personal rent. He said if he doesn't find a buyer by the end of the year, the company is going bankrupt.
The thing that makes this so fascinating from an analytical perspective is how the business and the show are completely inseparable. The only reason Loverboy worked was because Kyle, Amanda, and the rest of the cast were acting as human billboards every weekend on Bravo.
Right. Their popularity funded the brand.
But now that the brand is failing, the network doesn't care. They are just cannibalizing the failure for content. The bankruptcy is the new storyline.
And it gets so much messier because we have this Amanda fallout. For anyone who isn't caught up, Kyle and his wife Amanda ended their marriage. And Amanda is now dating Kyle's reality TV rival, Wes Wilson.
Which is already peak reality TV incest.
Exactly. But on the latest episode, Amanda is grocery shopping with Lindsay Hubbard, and she just casually drops a nuclear bomb. She tells Lindsay that she had to pay Kyle $117,000 in back rent.
I had to rewind the episode when she said that.
117 grand. Amanda explains that while they were married and living together, Kyle literally kept a spreadsheet tracking the rent she supposedly owed him. And now that they are separated, she is paying him back in massive lump sums.
A spreadsheet for your wife.
It is so dark. And she brushes it off like, no sweat off my back. But Lindsay immediately takes that information and runs to the rest of the cast with it. So now, Kenny Martin is on camera saying, oh, heavy conversations are coming. And Kyle is leaving these unhinged, frantic voice notes for Wes Wilson, saying they need to hash it out.
This is where we really have to look at ourselves as viewers, because if this was happening in your real life, if your friend's marriage collapsed, they were $500,000 in debt, their business was failing, and they were leaving manic voicemails for their ex's new boyfriend, you wouldn't grab popcorn.
No. I would drive to their house and stage an intervention. I would take their phone away.
Exactly. You would recognize a severe mental and financial crisis. But because it had a Bravo logo in the corner of the screen, we treat it like a spectator sport. We are the Romans in the Colosseum, watching this guy get eaten by lions.
But at what point does it cross the line into cruelty? Like, are we bad people for watching him lose his sanity?
We are definitely complicit. But the terrifying part is that Kyle is probably leaning into this humiliation because he desperately needs the Bravo paycheck to pay off the Loverboy debt. He is trapped. His trauma is literally his only remaining currency.
Wow, babes, that is depressing. So if you are a reality star, how do you survive this machine? How do you play the game without letting it ruin your actual life?
You have to become an elder statesman. You pivot to teaching the game instead of just bleeding for it.
Which brings us to Boston Rob, the man, the myth, the survivor legend.
He is basically a reality TV professor at this point.
He really is. He officially retired from playing Survivor. He said he is absolutely not going on season 51 or 52. But we just found out that he has spent the last 4 years secretly training Jonathan Young, who's now a finalist on season 50.
The visual of Jonathan going to Boston Rob's house to study strategy is so funny to me, like a Padawan and a Jedi.
Literally sitting at his feet. And Rob gave Jonathan 3 cardinal rules for surviving reality TV. Rule 1, smile. Rule 2, remember nobody else wants you to win. And Rule 3, control what you can control and let the rest go.
That first rule is a psychological masterclass. Smile.
Why is that so important?
Think about the environment of Survivor. You are starving, you are paranoid, you haven't slept, you think everyone is lying to you, your brain is hypervigilant. If someone is walking around scowling and strategizing, you target them. But if someone is smiling, a smile disarms the human defensive mechanism.
It's an evolutionary signal that says, I am safe.
Exactly. It masks your Machiavellian intent. Rob is teaching him how to weaponize empathy and basic human comfort. It's brilliant.
It really is. And we are seeing another version of this mentorship with Ariana Madix.
The queen of the pivot.
Truly. She went through arguably the most globally humiliating, traumatic reality TV breakup in history on Vanderpump Rules.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of letting it destroy her, she harnessed all that public empathy, and now she is hosting Love Island USA. She says it is her absolute dream job.
And she is so good at it.
She is. But what I love is how she talks to the incoming rookies in the villa. She tells them flat out that being authentic and being vulnerable are the only ways to win over the audience.
Coming from her, that isn't just a cliche. She knows the audience's radar for fakeness is sharper than ever. You cannot outproduce the producers anymore.
Right. If you try to self-edit, the audience will sniff it out and hate you.
Radical vulnerability is the only impenetrable armor left in reality TV. You have to lay all your cards on the table before the producers can flip them over for you.
But this creates such a huge problem for traditional Hollywood people who try to dip their toes into this world. Because traditional Hollywood is the exact opposite of radical vulnerability.
The Brooke Shields interview, this was so revealing.
Babes, this was hilarious to me. So actress Brooke Shields goes on the Today Show, and she admits that she is, quote, sick to her stomach because her daughter, Rowan Henshey, joined the cast of Bravo's Next Gen NYC Season 2.
Which is just a terrible idea for a Hollywood kid.
Right. Brooke said she desperately advised her daughter to be the voice of reason on the show and told her to try to parlay the reality TV stint into a respectable career in broadcast journalism.
Broadcast journalism. From a Bravo docusoap.
The delusion. It's like watching a classical violinist watch their kid join a punk rock band and telling them, make sure you play softly. Brooke doesn't understand the economy of reality TV.
She doesn't at all. Hollywood operates on prestige, PR training, and extreme control over your image. Reality TV operates on chaos, bad behavior, and oversharing.
If Rowan is a voice of reason, she's useless to the producers.
Exactly. She will get zero screen time. The editors will leave her on the cutting room floor. The only way she succeeds in that environment is by abandoning all the restraint her mother taught her. The machine demands a piece of your dignity in exchange for relevance.
It's a blood sacrifice.
Yeah.
But, even the producers have limits on what they can control. They can manipulate arguments, they can edit a conversation to make you look crazy, but they cannot script real-life biology.
This is where the whole format just kind of shatters.
It really does. We have 3 stories right now where real, profound health crises are interrupting these highly produced shows, and it is jarring. First, in the 90 Day Fiancé universe, Jenny Slatten just revealed that she's been diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
That is just devastating.
It is so sad. She said she noticed the symptoms last December when she was in New York. She choked on some water, and then she noticed her speech started slowing down. After months of testing, she got this terminal diagnosis. But the surreal part is, she and her husband, Sumit, are slated to appear on The Last Resort Season 3.
The tonal whiplash of that is impossible to process. The Last Resort is a show about quirky, messy couples doing absurd therapy exercises at a resort. How do you inject a fatal neurodegenerative disease into that format?
You can't. It forces reality into a space that is designed to avoid it. And we are seeing a different kind of biological reality on Bravo's Southern Hospitality.
Maddie Reese. This scene was incredibly raw.
She is in her 20s, she's a DJ, and she just has an absolute sobbing breakdown on camera over the pressure of egg freezing. She has celiac disease, she has a family history of infertility, and her mother is heavily pressuring her to freeze her eggs, telling her that knowledge is power.
And Maddie just completely spirals.
She does. She is crying to the cameras, and she literally quotes Dr. Reed from the Fantastic Four movie, sobbing, "Knowledge is a curse." Like, she is so overwhelmed by the medicalization of her own body, the biological clock, all while just trying to live her life in her 20s.
It's a very hyper-modern dilemma captured between scenes of VIP bottle service drama. And then you have the third example, which brings in the biology of addiction. Jax Taylor.
Jax Taylor, former Vanderpump Rules villain, recently fired from the Valley. He just revealed that he secretly completed a 90-day rehab stint for his mental health and substance issues. He is celebrating a year and a half of sobriety.
Which is commendable, genuinely.
Absolutely. And he didn't do a big Hollywood comeback party. He reintegrated into society by running a 5K for Mental Health Awareness Month.
But when you look at these 3 things together, a terminal ALS diagnosis, severe fertility panic, and deep addiction recovery, it creates massive cognitive dissonance for us as viewers.
Because we are used to them fighting over who leaked a story to Page 6, not confronting their own mortality.
Exactly. Reality TV is engineered for petty interpersonal conflict. It is not built to process existential dread. When a terminal illness shows up between commercial breaks for, like, dish soap, it feels grotesque.
It feels like we shouldn't be watching.
But on the other hand, it abruptly grounds the medium. It forces empathy. When Maddie cries about her body, or Jax confronts decades of self-destruction, it reminds the audience that these aren't just avatars in a video game. They are fragile, mortal human beings.
The X-ray machine suddenly shows a real beating heart. But of course, the network executives do not care about beating hearts. They care about algorithms. Because despite all this real human struggle, the reality TV machine demands blood. Which brings us to the mass firings at the Oppenheim Group.
The Selling Sunset Massacre.
Babes, Netflix is basically playing fantasy football with real estate agents. They just axed 4 cast members right before Season 10. Mary Bonnet, who is literally an OG from Season 1, Emma Hernan, Chelsea Lascani, and Sandra Vergara, all fired.
Their contracts ended in April and Netflix just walked away.
Just tossed them out. And who were they bringing back to fill those desks? The chaotic OGs, Christine Quinn and Heather Ray El Moussa. And rumor has it, they are poaching Alex Hall from selling the OC since that show is on pause.
It is a masterclass in algorithmic casting.
I think it's lazy. They are just sacrificing actual workplace dynamics for guaranteed venomous drama.
But that's exactly why it's algorithmic. They are optimizing for instability. You don't fire the middle tier of your top-performing real estate agents unless you are engineering conflict from the top down.
Because the real estate doesn't matter anymore.
It hasn't mattered for years. The luxury listing is just a MacGuffin. It's just a prop for the gladiatorial arena. The producers looked at Mary, Emma, and Chelsea and realized they had stabilized. They were getting along too well. And in reality TV, stability is the enemy of viewer retention.
So they clear the board and bring back Christine Quinn, who's like the final boss of reality TV villains.
Exactly. If the organic workplace isn't bloody enough, you import a shark.
But the cast members across all these networks are starting to realize they are just pawns.
Yeah.
And they are actively rebelling against it. The fourth wall is completely gone. They are fighting the producers in real time just to survive.
The Real Housewives of New Jersey situation is the perfect example of this forced engineering breaking down.
Oh my God, the forced birthday party? Season 15 was on pause forever because the cast genuinely hates each other so much they refuse to film in the same room. So what do the producers do? They force Melissa and Joe Gorga to throw a quote-unquote surprise birthday party for their bitter rival, Teresa Giudice.
And it was caught on a fan's cell phone from across the street.
Yes. Someone recorded them standing on the porch yelling surprise as Teresa walks up. And everyone on Twitter is zooming in on how painfully, undeniably fake it is. They despise each other, but they're trapped in this terrarium, pretending to celebrate a birthday just to get their paychecks.
Well, they are complying, but barely. Over on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, however, they are actively tearing the script up.
K. Michelle, babes. K. Michelle took to Twitter and explicitly broke the fourth wall. Fans are tweeting that she looked like she was having a nervous breakdown on the show, and she tweeted back denying it entirely.
She blamed the production mechanics?
She literally named names. She said Portia, Phaedra, and Drew were actively, quote, trying to produce a show by poking me. She recognized the setup in real time, saw them trying to trigger her for a storyline, and called it out publicly.
This is a huge evolution. The reality star is no longer a naive participant. They are hyper-aware of the edit, and they use their social media to litigate the narrative before the network even airs the episode.
Which brings us to the ultimate fourth wall break, the weaponization of the digital archive. Back on In the City, Lindsay Hubbard is on camera, and she literally pulls up the Notes app on her iPhone.
And the Notes app, it is a weapon of mass destruction.
She has a meticulously curated list titled Past Issues with Danielle, dating all the way back to 2019. She's been tracking every single grievance against her former best friend for half a decade. And she sits there and reads off an allegation that Danielle gave her ex-fiancé Carl a hand job in the back of an Uber years ago.
She archived a 5-year-old hookup specifically to weaponize it for a television contract when she needed a storyline. It is deeply dystopian.
It is so toxic. But the contrast in that very same episode is wild. Because after dropping this radioactive Notes app bomb, Lindsay completely breaks down. She confesses to the producers in this moment of raw vulnerability that she hasn't had sex in 9 months since having her baby and getting dumped.
Yeah, that was a tough watch.
She is crying, saying she used to shoot rainbows and butterflies out of her vagina, but now she feels entirely unequipped to date as a single mom. It is so vulnerable. And then you contrast her chaotic life with someone like former Love Island star Jaylen Brown, who just quietly and happily married his influencer girlfriend without a single reality TV camera around.
It just shows the diverging paths. You can choose quiet happiness off screen, or you can choose the Notes app war zone on screen.
And the war zone is exhausting.
It is. The era of passive reality TV is dead. These cast members are in active multi-front combat. They are fighting producers, fighting each other for algorithmic relevance, and fighting to maintain their livelihoods by commodifying their deepest traumas and their closest friendships. The fourth wall is the actual battleground now.
It really is. I mean, look at what we just went through. From the severe legal allegations in the UK, a whole town protesting in Texas, to Bethany's cake scandal, Kyle Cooke's financial ruin, heartbreaking medical diagnoses, and Netflix ruthlessly firing real estate agents for the sake of drama. It is a mess.
It is an industry in deep systemic transition, which really leaves us with a question for the listeners. As audiences demand more authenticity and the consequences become undeniably real, loss of businesses, loss of reputation, loss of sanity, are we approaching the moral expiration date of reality TV? Or will it just evolve into a digital panopticon where absolutely nothing is sacred?
That is a terrifying thought. Are we watching them, or are we just watching the darkest reflections of what we demand as consumers? Babes, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We want to know your thoughts. What hobby should we try next week? Is our vegetarian week impressive or embarrassing? What is your favorite comfort food? Because Jay is dying for a cheeseburger. And what is the weirdest hobby you've ever tried?
Let us know in the comments. And send me mozzarella sticks.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay messy, stay curious, and we will see you on the Snark side.